Good morning to you. Good morning to part two. Good morning to you. Good morning for part two to you. Won't you share with a friend or two? Morning, good morning to you, and many more, and many more, and many more. If you're joining us from part one, we just finished reading out of two books. We read from Set Boundaries, Find Peace, A Guide to Reclaiming Yourself, and we talked about boundaries with your in-laws and Drama Free, A Guide to Managing Unhealthy Family Relationships. And we talked about troubleshooting relationships with siblings. And we talked about gossiping about one child to another, denying problems, and siblings parenting siblings. So that's where we are picking up today. And hopefully, those of you who are coming in will get an opportunity to hear us share our talk back time. And let's see if our guest will be able to come back in. All right, I have sent you the connecting link. So hopefully you should be able to add yourself. And we're going to take some minutes here to chop it up. All right, and good morning. We're waiting for our guests to hopefully be able to connect so that we can move into part two of our segment today. We're talking about setting boundaries in our relationships. For those of you who are new here, this is Daring Dialogues, and I'm your host today, Shantae Charles. And this is season 17, episode 6 of Daring Dialogues. And let's make sure they have the connecting link. Okay. All right, I have just sent it again. So hopefully you should see that connecting link. I've just sent it again. And thank you all for those of you who are tuning in, who have come back to join us for part two. We had a little bit of technical difficulties on the first segment. And again, we're talking about setting boundaries, both with parents, setting boundaries with siblings, and setting boundaries around the holidays. All right. So let's see if they can grab that link and add themselves. If not, I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. If not, then we will close out our broadcast. I'll give you one action step. All right, there's our guest. I'm a little frozen. I'm not sure why I'm frozen. Why am I frozen? Good morning. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
And now I can hear you and see you. So I guess we're just tag teaming with this, huh?
I guess so.
All right, your voice sounds very, very low.
How about now?
It's sounding a little clearer,
Okay.
and I see I'm frozen on the screen, so I don't know if people can see me now or they can only see you. Good morning, Lady Stephanie.
Okay.
All right, Lady
For
Stephanie, I've
some
made
reason
you I've
lately, I
made
have
you a
to actually.
moderator. Go ahead, Pastor Ben.
For some reason lately, I've had to actually go in and search for the broadcast.
Yeah, this has been interesting. So I notice a lot of people are saying they're having a hard time finding our broadcast, even in the search bar.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, you want to go ahead? You can go ahead and share.
Okay. Okay. Um, Siblings. I have six.
You say you have six?
There was. I have six siblings. I had seven, but the oldest passed away way back in the 90s. Um, but yeah, I have six. I have six different relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think last time we discussed this, I was talking about this one sister that always seemed to somehow convince mom that some of the other siblings were problems.
Mm-hmm.
She was always with mom, always under mom, and always telling on everybody else. Um, but as we got grown, and mom got to really know her and the rest of us, that didn't work anymore. And somehow she really had it out for me when we used to be close. Well, you know what? I know exactly what it was. I know exactly what it was because all this started when I left their ministry. So that's what it was. But hey, um, but yeah, six siblings. Uh, you grow up learning a whole bunch of different personalities. You know who is going to be in your corner, regardless. You learn who to kind of shy away from that you don't want around when you're going to do dirt. You learn those things.
Mm-hmm.
And well, put it this way, my mom, if something happened, everybody would get punished.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've
So,
heard that from a lot of people who had, kind of punitive households growing up. That if no one
hmm
confessed to whatever it was, everybody received the punishment. I don't know. My mother never did
hmm
that. She was able to pretty much figure out who did what, except for the times when, my sister and my brother would both say that I did it. Um, but other than that, she was pretty good at um, figuring out which one of us did what.
Well, see, she was only dealing with the three different personalities, while my mom was dealing with the eight.
Mm-hmm.
As time went on, she began to understand and know who was capable of what, who would do what, uh, and those things like that. Like I said before, me and my sister Connie, we got in a lot of trouble together. My second oldest brother, he got in trouble by himself, a lot of trouble by himself. My oldest brother, he was kind of the, he didn't get in much trouble. Wrong, but somehow he knew how to maneuver himself around to where it wasn't found out or whatever. Uh, and then my oldest sister, she wasn't a troublemaker at all. It was like she was scared of everything. Uh, and then my three younger sisters, under my sister Connie, they were for the most part tag along,
Now, did
and
you
then they got
did
older.
you ever feel like, kind of going back to the ideas in the book, did you ever feel like you had to parent any of your siblings?
To an extent, the youngest two, to a certain extent, my youngest two siblings, which the oldest of the younger two, she and I are real tight. The baby, we used to be real tight. And she's the one that I basically parented the most. I was I always tried to beat up for the both of those, because by the time they was getting up and mom was working basically two jobs,
Hmm.
and dad had his thing going on with landscaping. Sometimes he would get home late. I had a sister that basically did the cooking, and the younger two, they were like, I guess the babies. Not for them a little more
Hmm.
because they were the youngest. I kind of made sure that things were straight with them. Because by now, I mean, my two brothers were the oldest. By now, both of them were out of the house.
Hmm.
My older sister, that's 3 years older than me, she was in college. So I'm the older sibling at home now.
Hmm.
So, I kind of looked out for those two, the younger two.
Got it.
So, in a sense, there was some parenting going on there.
Now, are there, when it comes to the other segment where we talked about around the holidays, um, you having, been married twice, what would you say to somebody who is sort of dealing with in-law issues around the holidays? What kind of advice would you give to somebody with, um, they might already be having strained relationships with their in-laws, um, and maybe the holidays makes it a little bit more strained?
Advice, well, I think we kind of dealt with that a little bit in my family. It's basically leave your issues at the front door.
Mm, okay.
That's it. Leave that at the front door. Whatever you may be going through as a couple, leave it out the door. See, my dad was big on that. He was big on that. Uh, and if it has to do with one of let's say, like, if one problem with somebody's family, you left that out the door. what choose sides.
Hmm.
If we don't have the full story, we don't have the full story.
I think some,
And that's mostly how we dealt with
and
things.
I think sometimes that's probably the biggest issue is people taking sides and not having the full story.
Hmm.
Because I think people have, I've heard people say,
Right.
well, it doesn't matter if we have the full story or not. It absolutely does matter.
Yes,
Because the
it
person
does.
that you could be standing behind to defend really could be the largest problem in the relationship. But because you don't have the full
Hmm.
story, now you've got this, um, division, or you got people pitting each other, pitting a person against the other person. Um, the other thing that I see is sometimes people will have an issue with their spouse, but they will wait to a family gathering to confront their spouse in front of their spouse's family. And so two things are happening at that moment. You have the spouse who feels attacked and caught off guard because you're making something that was between you and your spouse, you're making it everybody's business. And then you also have the awkwardness of the family now being thrust into an issue that was a personal issue that was not even brought to their family member first, but it has now been put out on the table for everyone to have some kind of opinion about. Um, and that's just a really bad place to put your spouse in. What do you think about that? Uh oh, I think I lost you. Pastor Benny, still there? I might have lost him for a moment. But I think that's one of the bigger issues that I see. That's one of the bigger issues that I see around
Can you hear me?
holidays. Are you back?
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now a little bit. Before you had blanked out and there was no sound.
Can you hear me now?
It's still going in and out. So now, so
So
now I
that
can hear you, but it's
situation.
still very low.
How about now?
Okay, I can
Is
hear you
that
a little
louder?
better now.
Okay, as I was saying in the words of Pop, y'all got to get that out of here because it ain't happening here. Like I Like said, I said, Pops was he was strong in that. You're not bringing. See, it's not going to happen. It was not going to happen there.
Hmm.
So if it wasn't something that you saw before you walked through that door, you better leave it out the door and solve it later.
Hmm.
See, so that's the way he did that. It was about family bit, and with my family, once you were married into the family, you were family.
Hmm.
It didn't matter whether you made it or not.
Hmm.
You were always seen as family. Now,
Yeah.
so it was like that's one of the reasons why many times sides were not taken,
Hmm.
especially when knowing my son. I'm like, okay, I know you.
Yeah.
I know this ain't all on them.
Yeah.
Now I can say this again. My oldest sister, she had to be one of the most innocent people I ever known in my life. So if anything was going on, chances are she was 99.999% straight. The other person, but the rest of, ways and their little moments and stuff like that. I knew that about them. I knew I had some that could say certain things, that could push certain buttons and make a person go off. I knew that about them. So, I was one that listen, you can't fool me because I know you. And I was always one to get to know their spouses also. See, so I was one that okay, I can see through this. This ain't what you're saying it is. Come straight.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. But yeah, there were, being eight of us, there was a whole lot that there was a lot of times people got blamed for something they didn't do and got in trouble. Um, and there were those that told lies on others and got them in trouble. But
So,
that was our
kind of
family.
what I hear you saying, kind of going back to um, some of the advice in the book around um, boundaries is asking your spouse for support in boundaries, communicating with your spouse. Um, one thing I would suggest is communicating with your spouse before you go into a holiday environment, that you all agree
Mm-hmm.
on, what you will talk about, what you won't talk about, especially if you know
Mm-hmm.
you have, and we're going to get into this next segment because it goes from just your in-laws to your extended family, especially if you know you have areas um, that people want to know about, but they don't necessarily want to know to be helpful to you as a couple.
Right.
Sometimes people are just nosy.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be blunt, they're just nosy. And so they will ask you, hit you with lots of questions and prodding, and you're just like, is this an interrogation or is this a holiday family gathering? Like, what is actually going on here? I'm serious. You're like, why are you asking me 50, 11 questions? We're not here for that. This is not an interrogation. Sometimes I feel like people don't know how to just relax around each other and just enjoy each other's presence and company. It doesn't have to be about questioning or interrogations. Um, it can be in just coming together, eating good food, enjoying each other's presence, playing card games. Although some families need to be banned from playing card games because that can start a whole war in and of itself. Um, Listening to music
I'm with
together, watching movies together. We know there's going to be, some sports events and games going. So it can just be that, Sometimes it doesn't have to be a big production of anything. Um, and so most people during their holiday times, they don't want to be stressed out. They don't want to be stressed out. People don't travel for the holidays to be stressed out. Most
Right.
people right now, especially in this country, are dealing with enough stress in their daily life, in their professional life, um, that when they come together with family, they want a place where they can feel like, whew, I can woo-saw a little bit. I can let my hair down a little bit. But if you are, if you have to go somewhere and you feel like you're on attack mode, then chances are you're probably not going to want to go. And if it's been that way for several years, and then somebody saying, are you going to be there this year? Well, probably not. Probably not. I probably won't be going. because I'm looking to relax and not be interrogated. And that's really what it is. Lady Stephanie says, be ready in season and out of season at a gathering. Yes. And so when I realize I'm not going to be ready because I'm not in the mood to deal with people's foolishness, I say I'm not coming. I got an
Well,
invite to a
I'm gonna
gathering.
tell you. I'm gonna.
They put it out yesterday. Someone in my family put out an invite to a gathering yesterday. And as much as I love this cousin, he's actually one of my favorite cousins. I do have favorites. I do. I won't be going. Number one, 2 weeks notice for me at the holiday season is not enough time. So if you want to do a holiday gathering, you got to at least give people like 90 days. Okay? August, September, that's when you want to put out announcements for a whole family gathering. 2 weeks before, if you look at flight scheduling now, if you look at hotels now, um, yeah, and especially where they live,
Hmm.
it's gonna be almost impossible to like get flight and hotel at a decent price. That's the other piece. The second piece is where they live. I've already vowed I'm not coming there because I'm boycotting the whole state. So that's another thing. So for me, although I appreciate the invite, I'm not gonna come. I'm not gonna go. Um, but yeah, those are things that you want to think about if you're considering inviting people for the holidays. Think about their travel. Think about their planning. Think about whether they have to get time off, paid time off, vacation time, all of those things. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to feel like, oh, these people they just didn't show up. I invited them, but nobody came. It's like, no, go backtrack to when you invited, when you extended the invitation, and ask yourself, did I put in enough time to extend an invitation for everyone to be able to respond to me properly? Or if I put it out there, right? And I know people have got to come from halfway across the country to get there. Chances are maybe the people who are closer to me or maybe the people who live in state, right, would be the first ones to come. But giving 2 weeks notice for a holiday get together, that doesn't let me know that you want people outside of the state per se to show up. So that's that. Final thoughts.
I'm gonna give a story. And I'm gonna give a. When I was
Um,
living in Miami, I had a sister, the one that was up on.
your sound is very low again.
She and how about now?
Still low. And I'm hoping that the
Mm.
sound will adjust once this video, ends. I'm hoping it will, because my sound is very low.
Hmm.
But go ahead.
Well, okay. When I was living in Miami, she invited me to her house for Christmas. I made it there. I didn't have transportation at the time, so I did the bus. Got to her house, rang the doorbell. She answered the door. Her words were, "I didn't expect for you to make it." I never went back there again. Never. Because she made everything clear to me. I was only asking you to come because I didn't think you would come, so I could tell everybody else that I invited you and you didn't show up. See, that's the message that I got from that because that's the type of person she is. But on the flip side of that, I have a God-given sister in Miami. I'm invited down there every Thanksgiving and every Christmas. I bring a change of clothes. I usually spend a lot of the next day. I was no here. waste no time. And whenever I'm at and I show up and I know everybody's there happy to see me. I don't get that. Well, I didn't expect you to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So they expect for me to show up. So if I don't show up, believe me, there's going to be phone calls. So um, sometimes your closest siblings, or the siblings that are most for you and in your corner, are not those that are born into the family.
Gotcha. All
See,
right.
like,
And I would say on that note, don't extend invitations to people that you really don't intend to invite. Don't extend an invitation in a false way. You either want to extend the invitation and have that person be in your presence during the holidays, or you don't. Because believe it or not everybody will respond like you did to being given an invitation, taking the time, making the arrangements to get somewhere and be somewhere, only for that person to sort of shade you about coming on a invite that they extended. Don't be that person this holiday, okay? And we're going to end there. I want to thank you all for your time and for your attention. Thank you all for staying and viewing with us through these technical difficulties. YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. One of these platforms someday is not going to be hindering us from trying to come on and have basic conversations. That's all I can say about it. But I thank you for your time and I thank you for your attention. At some point, we're going to try going live on my Substack. It might be a little bit better there, it might be a little bit clearer. But I got to figure out how the going live process works on Substack. But we'll try there at some point. I'll let you guys know when we're doing that. My Substack is Black Table Talk. That's my Substack. So you can feel free to join me over there. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues. This is part two of episode 6, season 17. I want to thank you for your time and for your attention. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to evil. So go out and be what?
like
Light. Take care, everyone. Be well, and most importantly, be